My name is Rachel, and this is the story of how a simple decision, one born out of trust, openness, and maybe a little naivety, changed everything between me, my husband, and my sister. It's not a story filled with scandal or recklessness, though many may assume otherwise from just the title. Rather, it's a story of boundaries, broken expectations, and a journey through uncomfortable truths. I've been married to Andrew for 8 years. He's calm, loyal, soft-spoken, and for the most part, someone who avoids confrontation at all costs. We live in the quiet suburbs of Colorado Springs, in a cozy home we bought together after years of saving. On the outside, everything about our marriage seemed normal, maybe even perfect. But what many didn't know is that behind the doors of our beautiful house, our relationship had grown stale. It wasn't just the lack of excitement. It was the routine, the same conversations, the same dinner schedules, the same goodnight kiss with no spark. We still loved each other, but the thrill had faded. I started feeling like I was fading with it. Then came my sister, Emily. Emily is 2 years younger than me, and though we've had our ups and downs, she and I have always been close. She had just gone through a tough breakup and needed a place to stay for a while. Naturally, I offered her our guest bedroom. Andrew didn't mind. He always liked Emily. They got along in a light, teasing way, which I never really thought twice about. It was during those weeks that I started noticing something. The way Andrew smiled more when Emily was around. The way he listened intently when she talked. The way his eyes lingered a little too long sometimes when she passed by in her gym clothes. I didn't feel jealous at first. If anything, I was intrigued. It was the first time in years I saw him animated, reactive, alive. I mentioned it one night while we were in bed, talking under the covers like we used to. "You seem happier lately," I said quietly. He blinked. "Do I?" "Yeah. I think Emily brought some light energy into the house." "I'm glad." He nodded, hesitant. "She's easy to talk to." That answer could have stung, but it didn't. Not yet. I wasn't foolish. I knew where this was heading emotionally, at least. But instead of reacting with anger, I leaned into it. Not because I didn't care, but because I wanted to understand something deeper. What did he need that I hadn't given? Was I still the woman who challenged him? Who excited him? 1 week later, I made a decision I thought was bold. Maybe even reckless. We were sitting on the couch, Andrew and I, watching a show we weren't even really paying attention to. Emily was upstairs in the bath. I turned to him and asked something I never thought I would. If I invited Emily to spend more time with us, like really with us, would you be open to that? His face froze. "What do you mean?" I clarified gently. "Emotionally, platonically, just sharing space, experiences, getting close, like we used to with friends, all 3 of us." He looked at me like I'd spoken in a different language. But I could tell. Deep down he was intrigued. "Would that be okay with you?" he asked, cautious. I wouldn't offer if I wasn't okay. And just like that, something shifted. The next morning I brought it up with Emily. Carefully, tactfully. "We've been kind of stuck lately," I admitted. "Andrew and I. And having you here. It's reminded us how good it feels to laugh, to connect, to open up again. Would you be open to spending more quality time with us? As friends? As company?" She was surprised. But Emily always had that adventurous spirit I lacked. She agreed, a bit unsure but curious. We started doing everything together. Cooking, walking in the evenings, playing board games late into the night. We even went on a weekend trip to the mountains, just the 3 of us. No one spoke about it directly, but something was clearly building. A connection. A triangle of energy I hadn't felt in years. Andrew was different. More present. More attentive. He was always checking in with both of us, laughing more, being more physical, but respectful. I realized it wasn't necessarily Emily he was drawn to. It was the idea of emotional presence. Something that had vanished from our marriage and was now resurrected through shared space. One evening after we came back from a movie, things reached a point where everything had to be addressed. Emily went to her room early. Andrew and I sat in the living room, not saying much. You meant it, he said suddenly. Turned. Meant what? That you were okay with this? With her being so involved? He nodded. Yes. But I also have boundaries. I want you to be honest with me. I want us to be honest with ourselves. He looked down. I've never felt this confused and yet this connected. To you. To both of you. I don't want to hurt you. You won't, I said. If you obey what we both decide. If we move forward as a team. He nodded, and in that moment I realized something. This wasn't about Emily. Or desire. It was about rediscovering ourselves. Things didn't turn scandalous. That's not where the story went. In fact, Emily left a week later, saying she needed to focus on herself. She thanked us for the clarity we gave her, saying she realized how much she had relied on other people's energy to find her own. After she left, Andrew and I started going to couples therapy. Not because anything went wrong, but because for the first time we knew there was something worth rebuilding. Something alive that had nearly died under years of routine. The experience wasn't about a romantic triangle. It was about permission to speak truthfully, to explore new ways of connection, and to rediscover intimacy through trust and vulnerability. Today, Andrew and I are stronger than ever. We still laugh about that season of our life. Sometimes people hear the title of our story and raise eyebrows. But if they only knew, it wasn't about disobedience or wild choices.